The U.S. Supreme Court held tense arguments Wednesday in a Republican appeal that could transform elections in the United States by giving politicians more power over voting rules and curb the ability of state courts to scrutinize their actions. Republican state lawmakers are appealing a decision by North Carolina's top court to throw out an electoral map as unlawfully biased against Democratic voters. Republicans are asking the Supreme Court, which has a 6-3 conservative majority, to embrace a once marginal theory called independent state legislature doctrine. Under that doctrine, Republicans claim the U.S. Constitution gives state legislatures, not other entities such as state courts, authority over election rules and district maps. Justice Elena Kagan said it's a theory that has big consequences.
It would say that if a legislature engages in the most extreme forms of gerrymandering, there is no state constitutional remedy for that, even if the courts think that that's a violation of the Constitution. It would say that legislatures could enact all manner of restrictions on voting, get rid of all kinds of voter protections that the state constitution, in fact, prohibits. It might allow the legislatures to insert themselves, to give themselves a role in the certification of elections and the way election results are calculated.
Kagan added that the proposal could get rid of the normal checks and balances at a time, quote, when they are needed most. It's an issue dividing the government of North Carolina. The North Carolina Justice Department is now defending the actions of the state's high court. They are backed by President Joe Biden's administration. David Thompson is a lawyer for the other side, the state's lawmakers.
Your Honor, so our position is that checks and balances do apply, but they come from the federal Constitution and the panoply of federal laws like the Voting Rights Act and other statutes that are highly protective of voters. So there is a check, there is a balance, and there's also a political. So we've got the legal check from federal law, and we've got the political check that the founders envisioned of going to Congress. And as I mentioned, this very Congress, this House of Representatives, voted to ban partisan gerrymandering in all 50 states.
The court heard about 3 hours of arguments, with some of its conservatives, including Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, indicating sympathy toward the Republican arguments. The 3 liberal justices signaled opposition to the Republican arguments. The position of others, including Chief Justice John Roberts, was harder to read, raising the possibility of a ruling less broad than the one sought by the Republican state lawmakers. The eventual decision, due by the end of June, could apply to 2024 elections, including the U.S. presidential race.